Good morning, my people, and welcome to the next Play 6-7. I'm your host, Darkel. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. It takes less than 3 seconds and is always free. Today, I want to speak on yesterday's quiz of the day, which was who was Oak Tree? His name was Charles Oakley of the New York Knicks. They used to call him Big Oak or Oak Tree. And today's question is, who is the round mound of rebound? Who is that? Whose nickname was that in the NBA? Okay. Today I would like to start by saying the quotes of today. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. That's some deep shit, man. I'm going to say that again because it was so smooth. I like that. It's better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. That's by Herman Melville. Today we're going to speak about a word that means a lot to me. And that's only because one of my heroes was a political prisoner for 27 years. His name was Nelson Mandela. He was a silent hero of mine. Once I read his book when I was in a box. I did 2 years in a box, and I ran across his book, and I kind of adopted him as a hero. I respected that man. He was really for the cause. And the word is apartheid today, meaning apartness. And Afrikaners was a legal system of institutionalized racial segregation and white supremacy in South Africa, imposed by the National Party from 1948 to 1994. It enforced total political, economic, and social dominance by the white minorities. Always the minority. They're always few in number, but they got them guns, you know? So that's what gives them power. Like, I don't know, man. That's another issue, but if that ever happens today, I don't know. I worry about that. I don't trust them. By the white minority over the non-white majority. In 1948, keep in mind, Israel went to war for what was known as the land of Palestine, aka in the Bible was called Canaan. In the same year, 1948. So, apartheid, these laws came about at about the same time, and that's when they made their move together. They wanted Africa. They always want the best part of the planet for themselves, and that's some deep stuff, man. I would like to say that again because I think it's very important. The word today is apartheid, meaning apartness in Afrikaners. And Afrikaners, they named themselves that, these minority whites that came from Europe, to make it sound like they're African. But they're not from the land. They came from Europe. They came from Dutch. They was the Dutch again, A lot of them was from different places, from France. Some was from France, some was from Britain. But nonetheless, they was not from that area, So basically, they everywhere they go, they take. That's all they know how to do. But anyway, so apartheid, meaning of partners in Afrikaners, was a legal system of institutionalized racial segregation and white supremacy in South Africa, imposed by the National Party from 1948 to 1994. It enforced total political, economic, and social dominance by the white minority over the non-white majority. And WNBA news, the Valkyries defeated the Wings. Gabby Williams had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Veronica Burton had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Paige Beckers had 21, 2, and 3. Arike Angumbunwali had 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. In Major League Baseball, St. Louis Cardinals 2, the Reds 1. They had a doubleheader. Cincinnati won the second game 6-5 over the Cardinals. Tampa Bay 7, Baltimore 6, Philadelphia 6, Miami 5, Detroit 8, Pittsburgh 5, Boston 11, Arizona 1. My Mets won 2-1. Kansas City 9, Oakland 5, Minnesota 4, Atlanta 2, Cubs 7, Chicago White Sox 5, the Battle of Chicago, Los Angeles Dodgers 11, Colorado 5. Today I want to speak about somebody that was very instrumental in the Knicks winning the championship this year. And how ironic I have his number on. His name is OG Anunoby, and I really feel that watching this series, he could have won the MVP also. Because not only did he hit the main shot to win the game in Madison Square Garden that kept it from going 2-2 and make the Knicks go up 3-1. He was just balling, man. Like, he was scoring 20, 30. He was right there with Brunson. So in my mind, I said, man, could he have got the MVP? Could they split it? Because they both, without his numbers, they don't win. You know, even though Brunson carried him, but Anunoby, look at the stats. They don't lie. Like Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And the stats prove what I'm saying. OG Anunoby Jr., born July 17th, 1997, and British professional basketball player, the New York Knicks of the National Basketball Association. He played college basketball for the Indiana Hoosiers and was selected by the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the 2017 NBA Draft. With Toronto, Anunoby won the NBA championship in 2019, though he was injured and did not play in the finals during the 2022-23 season. He led the league in steals while earning his first NBA All-Defensive Team selection. In December 2023, Anunoby was traded to the Knicks. In 2026, he was named to the second All-Defensive Team and reached the NBA Finals with the New York Knicks. In Game 4, he tipped the game-winning shot to complete the largest single-game comeback in NBA Finals history, en route to their first chip in 53 years. You know what that is, man? I was 10 or 9 years old when the Knicks won their last chip, and I had just discovered ball in the projects in Fort Greene, and I was, practicing my shots and calling myself Bernard King, and, Pistol Pete was my favorite player. It's amazing how 53, I thought I would never see a chip with these Knicks. And I lost so much money over the years in my travels behind these bum-ass Knicks that I thought that I would never see it. And I almost skipped the jump and went with Brooklyn when they moved to Brooklyn. But I've been a Knick so long, I couldn't do it. I'm a loyal guy. What could I say, man? But anyway, Anunoby is considered one of the best British players to ever play in the NBA. Agunga, that's his name, Agunga. I would want you to call me OG too if my name was Agunga. Agunga Anunoby was born in Harlesden, London, in England on July 17, 1997, to his Nigerian parents' Igbo descent. His father, Agugwa Sr., taught as a professor at Oxford Brookes University. His mother, Grace Nidhi Akukri, was a track and field athlete who competed at a national level for Nigeria and died of cancer when Anunoby was 1 year old. Whoa, what a shame. Sorry to hear that, man. It's really sorry to hear that. When he was 1 year old, at age 4, Anunoby moved with his family to the U.S. and settled in Jefferson City, Missouri, where his father was a professor of finance at Lincoln University. His older brother, Chigbu, played in the National Football League for the Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans, and Minnesota Vikings. Anunoby played football when he was young, but stopped around the age of 8 to focus on basketball because of his height. Anunoby played for the Jefferson City High School. During his senior season, he averaged 19.1 points, 8.6 rebounds per game, and was named a finalist for Mr. Basketball in the state of Missouri. In October 2014, Anunoby chose to attend Indiana University over Georgia, Iowa, George Mason, and Ole Miss. As a freshman, Anunoby appeared in 34 games, averaging 6.9 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 0.6 assists per game. Anunoby was selected as a preseason All-American by the Sporting News. On January 18, 2017, he injured his right knee against Penn State, causing him to undergo season-ending knee surgery. On April 2017, Anunoby declared his intention to enter the NBA draft and hired an agent, ending his tenure with the Hoosiers. On June 22, 2017, he was selected with the 23rd overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft by the Toronto Raptors. On July 9th, he signed his rookie scale contract with the Raptors. On the 14th of November, Anunoby made his career start against the Houston Rockets. He finished the game with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal in 30 minutes. By December 15th, he led the starter rookies in offensive and defensive rating and had the third highest true shooting percentage and best turnover to assist ratio for a non-guard. On January 29, 2019, Anunoby was named a member of the World Team representing the United Kingdom for the 2019 Rising Stars Challenge. In early April, he had an emergency appendectomy, which caused him to miss the Raptors' entire championship playoff run. He dressed for the NBA Finals but did not play as the Raptors won the title, becoming the first British player to win an NBA championship. On March 2020, Anunoby scored 32 points and recorded 7 steals, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in a 133-118 loss to the Denver Nuggets. He hit a game-winning buzzer-beating three-pointer on September 3rd in a 104-103 win in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Boston Celtics and finished with 12 points. The buzzer beater prevented the Raptors from going down 0-3 deficit to the Celtics. The Raptors fell in 7 games on December 21st, 2020. He signed a 4-year, $72 million extension through the 2024-25 season. On January 2021, Anunoby scored a season-high 30 points while getting 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals, and a block in a 107-102 win against the Indiana Pacers, joining former Raptors Kawhi Leonard as the only players with multiple games getting 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals in franchise history. On November 1st, Anunoby scored a career-high 36 points along with 6 rebounds and 2 assists along with the win against the Knicks. On February 25th, 2022, Anunoby was sidelined due to right finger fracture suffered against Charlotte Hornets. On March 3rd, he was ruled out for 2 weeks to rest his fractured finger. On November 16, 2022, Anunoby scored a season-high 32 points during a 112-104 win against the Miami Heat. On December 30th, 2023, the Raptors traded Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn to the New York Knicks for R.J. Barrett and Maro Crick. I thought that was a bad trade, but it sure wasn't. It was a great trade. Because I didn't think he was all that, but he is. OG's a bad motherfucker. On December 30th, 2023, the Raptors traded Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn to the New York Knicks for R.J. Barrett and Manuel Quickley and a second-round pick. On January 1st, 2024, Anunoby made his Knicks debut, putting up 17.6 rebounds in a 112-106 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. During his first 10 games as a Knick, he set an NBA record with plus 170 plus minus. On February 8, 2024, it was announced that Anunoby had surgery on his right elbow to remove a loose bone fragment, sidelining him for a month. Anunoby returned to play against the Sixers on March 12th. On June 24, 2024, Anunoby declined his $19.9 player option with the Knicks, becoming a free agent. On July 6, 2024, Anunoby re-signed with the Knicks on a 5-year, $212 million contract. He scored a career-high 40 points in 145-118 win against the Denver Nuggets. Anunoby had a streak where he scored at least 20 points in a career-high 10 straight games. For the season, he tied a career-high in games played 74 and career-high in scoring with 18 points per game while barely missing out another NBA All-Defensive selection. On May 22nd, 2026, Anunoby was named to his second NBA All-Defensive. He's a defensive stalwart. On top of it, he saved the game when he blocked the shot. And then on the other end, he did the remarkable tipping. So the MVP could have went to that man also. I wouldn't have been mad because he's a bad motherfucker and I'm happy we got him. And that is the amazing story and career of OG. From now on, he'll be known as OG and a hero in New York forever. Anunoby. Before I end this, I would like to say free Poppy, free C Just, Sadiq, Supreme Naheem, and Your Majesty. I didn't know that Your Majesty Madge was still locked up. I was looking on Facebook or one of the either Instagram and somebody, his son or somebody was driving through Sumner and mentioned his name and said, "Free Your Majesty, free the real." And I said, man, he's still locked up. And that's my man's uncle or cousin or whatever. My man that used to be my cellie in Cali when I was in Cali in the pen. And his name is C from Sumner. That's his family. So free Madge for sure. And before I leave, I would like to say, may each of you want but never want as long as you live. May each of you live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day, so I'll never know when great people like yourself has passed away. May you live as long as you want, but never want as long as you live. Thank you very much for being with me. Peace, love, and prosperity to everyone. I'm out.